Greetings ladies and gentlemen, Adrian here. Welcome back to the channel for a discussion video. Let's trade stories, and the topic is, which MMO are you glad you gave a second chance to? With MMOs, sometimes it's love at first sight, while most times it takes multiple revisits and character rerolls before you break it in and call it home. So right now, I want you to think about which MMOs those are for you and put them in the comments. In the meantime, I'll share the games I'm happy I gave a second shot to. I first picked up Guild Wars 2 back in 2014 based on the recommendation of a guildie in The Lord of the Rings Online, which was my main MMO at the time. I was told plenty of good things about the game, but my one-dimensional, one-game-at-a-time perspective didn't really compute anything. The game was on sale from a local game shop near me, so I thought, why not? Let's go see if it's any good. My first couple of hours in Guild Wars 2 was a nightmare. I understood the combat system and the use of dodging right away, but I was lost with the PvE, running around like a headless chicken in the first few hours. The questing didn't make sense to me at the time because I was so used to what was already out there, being told where to go by quest givers and being led on from quest hub to quest hub. I guess I was looking for the traditional theme park MMO experience that I thought every game out there utilized, but didn't quite find it. And in the end, I just became disinterested, and my headless roaming resulted in me not knowing how and where to find the narratives and what I should focus on in terms of character objectives on any given map, especially in the early game, so I went back to Lotro. When I started the channel to review MMOs a few years later, I decided early on I had to give Guild Wars 2 a second shot. I already spent money on the game, plus everywhere I researched said the same thing. For its time, Guild Wars 2 revolutionized MMORPGs at launch back in 2012 with its systems and ideas. So I hunkered down, and this time, I took an advice from the players around me and from the community. I dropped any expectations I had about what I expected the game to do for me in the early levels and instead, let the game dictate everything. I restarted my character and just followed the early map events and went about completing hard tasks as if they were the side quests I was looking for, but always keeping an eye out for events that acted as supplementary stories. I joined mentors and commanders around on event trains that helped me get the XP I needed to push on in the personal stories. And once I figured out the flow and a balance between exploration and proactive leveling, everything became more enjoyable. And that's how my 2017 review of Guild Wars 2 came to be. These days, I do see comments of players saying they just can't get into the early leveling experience in Guild Wars 2 for similar reasons, and I'd give them the same advice. Drop your traditional theme park expectations and let the game dictate the pace and adventure for you. All you need to do is take that first step towards a hard task or a shiny orange icon near you. Another game I'm glad I came back to for a second shot is Final Fantasy XIV. No bullshit, I'll be straight up with you guys, I never liked Japanese style games in the past. My sister, on the other hand, is crazy about them, especially for Final Fantasy. She did force me to start Final Fantasy XIV back in 2017 for the review, and since she offered to pay for my subscription, I thought, why the hell not? Let's get that review over with. My first 2 months spent in Eorzea was a mixed one. There were many things I liked about the MMORPG, like its multi-class and one-character system, and some of the stories the game was building up to in the base game, but ultimately I didn't see an end product. The leveling was very slow for me, as was the game's combat system, and once I reached the cap of 50 at the end of A Realm Reborn, I thought I'd seen enough of what the game had to offer. And here I am in 2020 telling you that I was dead wrong. Coming back in early 2019, I had to steel my resolve to get through that tedious main scenario questing stuff that led to the game's first expansion, Heavensward, as apparently that's when everything just picks up. All that running around with loose story threads would see a huge payoff, I was told, and that's when the combat has a chance to grip you with the prospect of new jobs and better options at diversifying how I played, especially with working around the GCD. Yes, it was still a large time investment as it took me close to 3 months as a first timer making my way toward Shadowbringers, but man, did my outlook of the game change drastically. The most important thing for me has always been the story with Final Fantasy XIV, because the characters are constant and the plot is always leading the game and the game world forward in some way, which is the hook that keeps me coming back for more. And we all know how Shadowbringers turned out, so hey, I'm glad I came back. These days, I even take in things I don't normally do in Eorzea, like doing trials or raiding, which is a big bonus for me. And it's because of Final Fantasy XIV that I now am open to exploring other JRPG games for their narratives, which led me to find gems like Fire Emblem Three Houses or Astral Chain, which I would have otherwise never played. So that's my story. These are the MMORPGs I'm pretty glad I gave a second chance to, since now, as most of you know, they are among the games I play most in my rotation. Now it's your turn. Folks, what are the MMORPGs you're glad you gave second chances to? Let me know your experiences down in the comments and let's share stories. That's it from me. Hit the like button for more on MMOs and feel free to subscribe to the channel and click that bell icon to never miss a video. Once again, I'm Adrian, and I thank you for watching.